Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome in to the virtual Talladega Super Speedway. It is championship night here for the Dega Pros Little Guys Series, the series hosted by John Ward. The best 15 on the year. Our podium finishers from all 5 weeks are ready to go for what should be an incredible feature race tonight, a championship race here tonight from Talladega. 15 enter, 1 man leaves as champion, 3 will leave with championship payouts. We'll get to those in just 1 minute. We're about to go to qualifying here in a few minutes. I hope you've enjoyed the day of racing. I know the Xfinity Series race is on track now, with about 18 laps to go. I'll keep you updated as I can on that throughout the course of the early part of the night, as they are all kinds of scrambling in that race right now. But first, right off rip here, right off the bat, we are going to go immediately to an interview and get a word with a man we did not get to interview a few weeks ago. Did not have a chance to get to talk to him. Unfortunately, some scheduling conflicts got in the way, but we're going to talk to him right now, right off the bat, and that is our Week 5 winner, the regular season finale winner, and that is Bar Racing's Aubrey Thompson. Aubrey, you got me up here in the broadcast booth.
Yes, sir, I do.
All right, well, we didn't get to talk to you a few weeks ago. We get a chance right now, and it's championship night, so we'll kind of focus on that. First off, if you can remember back 2 weeks ago to that victory, what went into getting into victory lane and getting here tonight with her for a chance to race for a championship?
Just taking my time, man, trying to stay out of trouble. That's the biggest thing with these races, which I will say this event here usually stays pretty clean. Hopefully tonight it'll be the same way. We can get some green flag stops in and, it'll break up the field some.
Well, absolutely, and as we go into this race, I know you just said it, green flag pit stops, but you do have a teammate in this race, Justin Mills in the 4. Just kind of take me through what y'all's game plan is in terms of, are you going to go up and race the front, or are you going to stay at the back? What's the game plan here for you and your boys tonight?
Well, we got Raymond too, so there's actually 3 of us. I'm going to I guess we're going to try to qualify, see if we can get up front for the pit stall, and then plan for right now is probably fall to the back and just ride for a little bit. I mean, it is a long race, so.
Well, absolutely it is. Well, hey, before we let you go, we do want to give you a chance really quickly, since you did not get to a couple weeks ago when you got to victory lane. Just real quick, before we let you go qualify, before we let you go get down to business here tonight, is there anybody you'd like to thank or shout out for that win a couple weeks back?
I just want to thank my teammates for being there for me. That's about it. I mean, I'm on a new wheel, new pedal setup too, so we're going to see how that goes.
Well, we'll see how it works out for you. Qualifying's on track, so we'll let you get to work. Good luck tonight. Congrats on the win a couple weeks ago, and we'll see if we're seeing you here at the end of the night.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
We'll let him get to work. That's Aubrey Thompson, the man who won Week 5, the regular season finale, to get to this point. And qualifying now on the racetrack. We'll get that timer up there so you know how much time is left. And with that being said, if everything's all set, if he's got everything situated, we'll bring in my second member of the broadcast team tonight. You know him from the last several weeks of this series. He's back again tonight to help me cover this one. Matthew Baker's in the booth with me. Baker, what are you looking forward to tonight? What are you expecting out of this championship race?
Well, excited. It's a long race with only 15 cars. It's gonna take a while for us to get through these laps, but these guys have really proven themselves over the past couple of weeks that they can do green flag racing. They've what I say 3 out of the 4 have gone basically caution free with a little bit of mix-ups. We've had strategy with fuel, and I'm looking for strategy to play out on fuel as well again in this race. You got Team PGR, you got KSR, you have BAR, McCullough Motorsports, you name it. Big names are going to be in this race in a 15-car field, so I think any of these 15 cars really has a chance to win this race.
Well, absolutely, I agree. We'll go through your championship 15 here really quickly while they qualify, just give you a kind of a lay of the land of who is in this championship race, and it was a good idea to list the teams because there are several teams in here, and I'll try to get all of them for you. We'll start with the guy that's not on a team tonight, and that is Tyler Hickory, the best story probably of this season. A Hail Mary move on the last lap of the last race to get to this spot. He is running again tonight. Now, I will say, just as a quick note, I do believe he is running with the 2 PGR trucks here tonight, so a temporary alliance perhaps, at least until the going gets tough later on in the race. So we'll count it as Tyler Vickery, along with Nash Brambilla and J.R. Miller, who finished 1-2 in that fifth race, kind of came in and stole the show. They are in this championship race tonight. BAR has 3 trucks. I do want to apologize. I completely overlooked Raymond Hanneman as being on BAR, but he is. So it is Aubrey Thompson, Justin Mills, and Raymond Hanneman, and that alone is 6 of the 15 in tonight's race. Then you move to McCullough Motorsports, and for them in the field tonight, they have Austin Green in the 87. They have Ron Morris in the 76. They have Mark Vondell in the 59. And they have David Sheets in the 1. So a 4-truck McCullough Motorsports contingent here tonight in this race. You have Zach Range in the 043. Not exactly sure who he's running with tonight. I believe he might be solo again. I'm not sure off the top of my head, so don't take my word for that. But I do believe he might be on his own. Then you have the KSR contingent that rounds out our field tonight. Actually, Hyper would round out our field. It'd be Heath Job and Larry McDonald, and I'll look down and make sure I've gotten everybody on that. Yep, only 2 for Hyper in this field, so Job and McDonald, the 80 and the 760, and then the 2 KSR trucks, who were the first 2 to lock into this championship race, round out our 15-truck field. That's Dustin Carruthers and Trevor Osborne. So a bunch of teammates and several guys that have kind of brought in a couple drivers here tonight to at least help them until, like I said, the going gets tough later on in the race. And with the teammates becoming a factor in this race, Baker, as we get ready to go green, is that team alliance going to be tested when the going gets tough at the end of the night?
I don't think these guys are going to put a lot on the line. Besides basically the KSR boys, a lot of these guys are very, very calm when they are at this track. They approach it very methodically, work their way through the field, and then 100 laps really tests that patience. I think KSR is going to be up front. They're going to lead a lot of laps. Dustin and Trevor are probably the class of the field, with Austin Green right behind them. Nash Brambilla is going to be a good contender as well. Look for those 4 trucks to be up there. But on the Tyler Vickery note, he is a part of PGR now. They announced last week that he is a staple now in the PGR bin. So he'll be there with Michael on Thursdays, and look for more of him up front.
What a get that is for Team PGR, snagging Tyler Vickery off the free agent market, if you will. They're going to incorporate him into more of their action. So, wow, interesting to hear that for Tyler Vickery as we get ready to go green. Speaking of green, Austin Green has the quick time on the board right now. We'll see if that sticks. With only 15 seconds to go, looks like it will. I know Austin, very motivated for tonight's race, wants to get to victory lane, remembers how last season ended, how that championship race ends, and there's several guys in this field, I think, that feel the same way. Dustin Carruthers notably had 3 wins last season, was not able to get a championship under his belt tonight, comes in after racing only 1 race all season, wins it, goes to victory lane, and now has to sit out until tonight, his first action back, and what a call it is for him. 100 laps are on tap tonight. It's a long one. Bear with us tonight. This is a very long race, over half the normal Cup Series race distance, longer than a full-length Truck Series race at Talladega tonight. So we'll carry you through it all right here as we get ready to go under the green flag. Drivers are taking the grid. We will get to our starting grid for our championship night in the Dega Pros Little Guys Series. Austin Green, the Green Ghost, is on the pole tonight with a 55.507 and just barely snagged the pole from KSR's Trevor Osronoff in the 89, who rounds out row number 1 on the outside of that row. It'll be Justin Mills for BAR next to his teammate Aubrey Thompson in all BAR row number 2. It'll be Dustin Carruthers rounding out the top 5 to his outside on row number 3. It'll be David Sheets in the 1. Position number 7, it'll be Heath Job in the 760 for Hyper Motorsports, alongside the McCullough Motorsports entry of Mark Vondell. Last 2 trucks inside the top 10, Larry McDonald in the 80 and Zach Range in the 043.
Got Ron Morris Jr. in 11th, Raymond Hanneman in 12th, Nash Brambilla in 13th, J.R. Miller in 14th, and Tyler Vickery rounding out your 15-truck field tonight. And Dawson, I'm really excited to see how this first stage of this race plays out, how these first 30 or 40 laps plays out. If everyone rides in line, bides their time, or if they're really aggressive. Look for Zach Range. I think that's another truck that you're going to see be real aggressive on the beginning, and he doesn't have any teammates. Not seeing him in the Discord with anyone, so look for him to really try and work his way through the field and try and get up front and control his own destiny.
Would not be surprised based on what we've seen in the past out of Zach Range. We'll have to see how he attacks this race. As everybody's on the grid, we are ready to roll and get these drivers working around this 2.66 mile speedway to get underway here tonight for 100 laps of championship racing. And quickly, before we go under the green flag, the championship payouts tonight, a little bit different than our smaller payouts for the race. The champion tonight is going to be the winner of the race, and he'll receive $250 tonight for his championship efforts. Second, going to go home with $150. Third, going to go home with 100. Nice payouts for a 15-truck field tonight as we get ready to go under the green flag. Osbornoth Green on the front row. Do want to update those quickly, trying to keep track of this race and the Xfinity Series race from Daytona. Currently under the caution flag. Another incident late in that race has slowed the pace down in that one. It'll be 12 to go when they go back green. Ryan Sieg, Riley Herbst, Cole Custer, Sage Karam, Chandler Smith, the top 5. So a wild finish coming in the Xfinity Series, a wild one coming here. Hope everybody enjoyed what was, in my opinion, an excellent Daytona 500 earlier today as William Byron got the checkered flag in that race as NASCAR opens its season on a Monday and conflicts its schedule with ours. So, again, I'll try to keep you updated on that race. They're about to go back under the green flag, so if we hit a lull in this race, I'll give you an update over there, and we'll have to see how that one pans out as well. Green, Osbornoth, Mills, Carruthers, Thompson, your starting top 5 in the championship race here for the Little Guys Series. And, Bakers, we get ready to go green really quickly. Who's your pick to go home with the championship tonight in the Little Guys Series?
I think Dawson Green just has a lot of momentum over these last 2 weeks. I know it's not Daytona, not the week he wanted to have a podium, but he looked really strong up to the Podium 500 and in the Podium 500. And then he qualified for ERA for Wednesday. So I just think he has the right mindset to get it done, and he's liked by all the trucks in here, teammate or not. So I really look for Austin Green to win this race.
Solid pick. If I had to pick one, I think I'm going to stick with Carruthers. I think he finally gets the job done tonight, goes to victory lane, and gets the monkey off his back, gets a championship under his belt. As we get ready to go under the green flag from the Talladega Super Speedway, here we go. Green, Osbornoth on the front row. We'll bring him into the restart zone. And we're going to go under the green flag for the first time at Talladega. Green flag is in the air. It's championship night for the Little Guys Series. We're underway. Lap 1 going to be all KSR on the front row. Osbornoth, Carruthers, 1-2 at the line. You saw the BAR trucks dove out of line, and that's exactly what Aubrey Thompson told us he was going to do, is drop out. He and Justin Mills and Raymond Hanneman all going to go hang out at the back. It's a very long race. No surprise that they're going to go to the back. Carruthers now on the nose of his teammate. Leaves Austin Green on the bottom, 2 wide, 4 rows deep. And with that being said, we'll introduce the third and final member of our broadcast team here tonight. Another regular in the Tuesday, Thursday night money racing scene all over the place. This guy's been everywhere. Matt Lee joins myself and Baker in the booth. Matt Lee, how you doing? What are you expecting out of tonight's race?
Hey guys, how's it going? I'm good. Just watching these guys. Austin, man, he's been quite a force lately. He's talked to be I don't know. I think he's gonna be the one to watch.
Well, certainly motivated by last season's results. I know he's said it multiple times. He said it in the post-race interview that we got from him when he locked into this race in week number 2. He said he was set out to win a championship and that he wanted to right the wrongs at the end of last season. Well, tonight, no surprise here. He's going to stay up front, try to control the pace, try to dictate the way that this race goes. Right now, Carruthers, Oswornoth up top. It's Heath Job on the bottom. Carruthers went to clear down. Unfortunately, was not clear. The push came to the bottom, and now the top going to fall apart. Heath Job of Hyper Motorsports to the lead here as they come off turn number 4.
Yeah, big push gone wrong there. On the bottom side, after he tried to clear himself, everyone really able to stack up and sort it all. It's a good thing about these guys towards the back half of the field. They're single filed, really, not trying to save fuel, but just save their truck. Get there at the end. They know that they need to just walk some laps here, and cooler heads prevailed there. You can see KSR back, trying to get back going on this top side. They got 2 up top, 4 on the bottom. Range, maybe I'd look for him to maybe try and fall out of line, try and get to the top side with those guys. But you see Heath Job jump up to the top. Gonna take a pusher from Dustin Carruthers. Now they're 3x3.
Yeah, it was a really good job by everybody right there, just being smart. Everyone gathering it up and get racing here, putting some laps in.
A very long race ahead. 100 laps on tap tonight. It's a ton. And it's going to take a while to get through them. You heard Baker say that. Now, these guys are just going to go single file. And quite frankly, I don't blame them. With 96 to go at the line, they got a long way to get all the way home here tonight. But the KSR boys aren't content with that. They're going to go back to the front. Well, Carruthers thought he was going to try to bring his teammate with him. Unable to there in 1. But now goes back up to get him. Perhaps thought better of the move down to the bottom. And now it's going to jump back up. I am having some connection issues. If we get a caution, I'll try to fix it. If not, might just have to live with it here for the early part of this race. But for now, still trucking along, but it's only 2x2 for 3 rows. Everybody else single file, so we're not missing a ton here. Austin Green, Job still side by side. And good call on Zach Rangebaker. He runs second now on the inside, pushing Austin Green. Big push on the bottom.
Yeah, those two are hooked up together. They're going to be very hard to beat if they stay committed to each other. Austin has his alliances otherwise with Mark Mondell and David Sheets and Ron Morse Jr. But if they're not up front, he's going to have to rely on Zach Range because that's going to be his help. And watching the Xfinity race, it's really hard to keep my eyes off this race. I mean, the racing was crazy. 3 wide, 2 wide, and they just had a wreck with 8 to go.
I'll tell you, I was doing the same thing. I've got it on 2 different screens here. I've got my main monitor here with our race, and I've got the Xfinity race over to my right. I'm peering over every now and then, and yep, good call on the wreck. There was a wreck. It involves Cole Custer, Justin Allgaier, and others on the backstretch. A pretty sizable one. Looked like pretty close to the front of the field, so another late restart coming over there from Daytona. Meanwhile here, the KSR boys have run out of help. Now they're hanging tough on the outside, but the only ones up there right now are those 2. So not a lot of help going for them right now. Nobody really wants to jump out of line. In fact, if you look back there, back of about the 6th truck in line, or excuse me, the 4th on the bottom, 6th on the racetrack, Larry McDonald, there's about a 2-3 truck length gap back there to Mark Mondell. He's hanging way back here, just trying to bide his time and get through the early portion of this race, but leaving a ton of room, plenty of room, should anything happen there. Now everyone will go single file. Down the Alabama Gang Super Stretch we go, and just like the beginning of the Xfinity Series race earlier, we are all single file right along the double yellow line.
And just going to log some last here. You see Ron Morse Jr. tucking up to the back bumper here. Last truck in line here, this 15 truck field, but he was in danger of losing the draft. He saw Sheets step out of line to give him that draft, to get him within that second gap, and was able to pull back to the back bumper. So glad the teamwork worked well there, but you're just going to see some nice single file racing along the bottom. No need to go to the wall in these trucks. Not fast enough. Doesn't bring much of advantage that you see in the next gen or the Xfinity cars. So you're just going to see a lot of single file along the bottom racing, logging laps, which is honestly really great for us here in the booth because it's ticking these laps down, but it's good for the drivers because they're keeping their trucks clean.
Yeah, for sure. It's long race. No reason for anyone to get out doing anything here.
As they go single file, again, trying to watch the replays of the incidents going on in the Xfinity Series race over here to my right. Looks like Daniel Dye, Kaz Gralla, a couple others potentially involved in that one as well, along with the other ones I already mentioned. And man, they piled up several cars. They were 3 wide, multiple rows deep in that race like they have been a lot, much like we'd see in one of our races on a Thursday night perhaps. That's how both races today have felt. The intensity was the same as one of our races, but these guys are going for 300 and 500 miles, whereas we only go for give or take about 100 or 120 on a nightly basis. So they're racing hard. They're going to go green again here shortly once they get that wreck cleaned up, as these guys continue to just take off laps. I believe it's 100% fuel. Don't quote me on that, but I think I saw that it's 100% fuel tonight. So we should be able to go just over 30 laps, which means a 3 pit stop strategy for these guys. Luckily, and I'll double check my math real quick. Yes, it is 100% fuel. So luckily, we're not going to have to pit 6 times in this race like I feared we would at one point before I realized it was 100% fuel. So 3 pit stops on tap, but less pit stops means you got to be more accurate on those pit stops. And look, you guys both have a ton of experience doing races with green flag pit stops, especially when there's these kinds of stakes, these kinds of payouts on the line. Those pit stops get very, very high stakes.
Yeah, and just I'm thinking about towards this beginning, these pit stops. I don't see any need for an undercut. It's full fuel, so you get about 30, 31 laps here. In the trucks, you could undercut, pit at lap, 10 coming to 11. Maybe the McCullough Motorsports trucks get hooked up. They try and undercut this first stop. But, I think with this now I say new, it's not really new anymore. The draft model with these trucks, it just makes more sense to go the distance and go longer. And it relates to real life. You watched the Cup race today. It paid off for everyone who stayed out longer. The Chevys stayed out longer. It happened with the Xfinity race. You had the Chevys that stayed out longer, and then the Fords that stayed out even longer, and they gained that track position. So I think running it out on a good fuel tank and having a good pusher behind you is key. So I think you're not going to really see any of these guys undercut. But it would be the strategy to pull in one of these races. It's a small field. It's 15 cars going for a championship, but they don't have to worry about anyone else. Everyone here is going for a championship. So going on a different strategy may pay out for you if you have enough trucks with you.
And that's the thing, Baker, like you're saying, is that you've got to have enough trucks to go with you. And, what's the biggest team we got here? You said the group that was working together with Austin was like 3 maybe. So with 3 trucks, it's going to be hard for anyone to really break away.
Absolutely. I think it's just, four trucks is the biggest team that we have out here on Morse. David Sheets, Mark Vondell, and Austin Green for McCullough Motorsports. You may see PGR try and align with them. They would come the next time, I would believe. But if one group pits, I think the entire field pits the next lap. You're not going to see much separation. And these guys have gotten so good at getting on and off pit road. We've seen many pit road battles between these guys that, you're not going to really see much separation.
Well, I absolutely do want to shout out the people out there in chat, the audience members. Use that chat feature, by the way. We got 19 here on a Monday night, late night. And, yes, it's 100 laps, so stick with us. It's going to be a long one, but we'll all get through it. So far, wire to wire, 13 on the board here and gone. Devin Ray, good to see you as always. Jack Hignight's in the chat, pulling for Heath Job in the 760. Looking good so far, leading the race. Led a lot of laps of this short portion of this race so far. Julie Paul rooting for Nash Brambilla. Well, right as I say Heath Job's leading a bunch of laps, he yanks out of line and is going to go to the back with his Hyper Motorsports teammate Larry McDonald, preparing for what should be a pit stop. Imagine they're going to save some gas here later in the run. Julie Paul rooting for Nash Brambilla. Josh McCullough rooting for McCullough Motorsports. Good to see everybody in the chat tonight. Josh McCullough, our Season 2 Little Guys champion, hanging out in the chat. Good to see you, Josh. And as he waits to see who will join, he and Michael Triscaro as our Little Guys Series champions tonight when we get to the end of the night. See the Hyper Boys.
A real
wow.
close one right there.
Larry McDonald, Raymond Hanneman. That was a sketchy moment as McDonald tried to take the spot line. They're going to have to go all the way to the tail end, are these 2 Hyper trucks. And that's going to hand the lead to Zach Range and the 2 KSR boys up here. You see Vondell still leaving a big gap. Smart. I like the strategy early by the 59. Just leave a lot of room. Don't leave any chance for anything to happen that could ruin your race early in the going. 14 laps are on the board. Range, Osbornoth, Carruthers, the top 3 on the racetrack right now. Another update for you from Daytona. Riley Herbst cedes the lead to pit with 5 laps to go. So he will drop to the tail end. It's, I believe, now Jordan Anderson who's inherited the lead in Daytona. What a story that would be. Essentially, kind of like one of the little guys winning at Daytona. That'd be pretty ironic for the race we got going on right now. So Anderson leads at the front. I know Ryan Sieg is running up front as well. So watch out for the underdogs in this race as we get closer to the end. Range, Osbornoth, Carruthers, your top three onto the super stretch.
Yeah, another fellow iRacer up there, Parker Retzlaff, was in the NASCAR Coca-Cola iRacing Series 2 years ago. Succeeded his position last year to go out and actually race in Xfinity full-time. It's his second year in Xfinity for Jordan Anderson Racing, and they got really, really fast hot rods for the super speedways. And it's nice to see some iRacing community representing out there well in the top 5.
Yeah, it's really cool. Parker's a really good kid. We've all raced with him a bunch on here, and really talented, willing to learn a lot. When he was racing with us, and someone I had fun working with a few times.
And again, as these guys are single file, we'll keep giving you updates from the Xfinity Series race at Daytona as they get set to go green here shortly, we assume. We still wait on that race to go back under the green flag. I was going to give you a rundown, but now the ticker's gone, so I can't give you a rundown. But I completely overlooked Parker Retzlaff. I didn't even see him running in the 5th position, and one of the Jordan Anderson Racing race cars. That would be a cool moment as well, especially after, not to mention, William Byron, who notably got supposedly his start, as he tells it, on iRacing. What an interesting story that would be. William Byron, Parker Retzlaff going to victory lane and serving us iRacers well here on Daytona Monday, I guess, excuse me. But as we are still on lap 17, everybody's still single file. I'm looking back through trying to figure out who's where. The PGR contingent, J.R. Miller, Nash Brambilla, Tyler Vickery, quietly, guys, have found themselves in a really great spot. 5th, 6th, and 7th on the racetrack.
Yeah, and just back to the iRacing to real life thing, it just proves the point that this racing is so realistic to what it feels in real life. Unless the only thing you're not getting is the feel in your pants. You're not getting the G-forces. You're not getting the actual motion that you're feeling in the car, but you know where to put your truck, and you know where you need to put your car to be in the best position. Anthony Alfredo, Raja Caruth all said it whenever they were running in the podium. They said they feel out of class when they race against people that do this every day and every night, because we're a master of our craft and we're masters of the draft, I think, when it comes to super speedway racing. You're seeing 15 of some of the best out here. We race against these guys every Thursday night. I have the privilege of race controlling these guys every Thursday. I see almost all 15 of these trucks in the race every Thursday night, and happy to race against them throughout the week because it's so much fun to race against 40 of your friends that can really, really test you every single lap, and you have to be up on your toes, and it's really cool to see.
Yeah, it's been fun to watch make this group grow. I mean, not all of these guys were great at any point in time, and they're all been willing to learn, racing with us. And Larry McDonald's someone that's reached out a bunch of people and tried to learn from everybody, and just how fun this community is when everybody does want to learn from each other.
Well, we call it the Little Guys Series, but I mean, so many of these names, like you said, have either learned from the guys that run on Tuesdays and Thursdays and other nights of the week, or just have improved themselves, whether by racing on Monday, by racing on those nights. All these guys individually have improved a ton. I know we've talked in the past about Zach Range, the improvement that he has gone through. Tyler Vickery, even just over the course of the past 5 weeks, has improved a lot. You talk about guys like Justin Mills, Aubrey Thompson, Raymond Hanneman, guys that entered this series maybe a little bit off the radar, but certainly are on the radar now, and not just for what they do on Monday nights, but for what they do on other nights of the week as well. These guys all make a name for themselves here and in other places as well. So good to see everybody out here. Good to see everybody running tonight. A couple more in the chat. Mike Davenport, good to see you. Says he's going to commit to Season 4 of the Little Guys Series, so that'll be fun to add another PGR driver to the mix. Especially should one of the PGR drivers not win the championship tonight, and then they're all 3 running in the series next season. That would be quite the trio to try to break up over the course of a season. And John Mullahan in the chat as well. Good to see you as well. Talking about the stakes are high despite the low driver count. In fact, I think they're a little bit higher with the lower driver count. A little bit more room to work, a little bit more room for some mistakes to be more costly. So we'll wait and see how that goes. 3 picks for John Mullihan. Carruthers, Sheets, and Ron Morris. So a good trio there as well. Again, all 15 of these guys are here for a reason. Any one of them could win this race. That's why they're here. They finished top 3 at some point in a race during the season. And now you have to go up against all the other guys that finished top 3 as well. So, again, still very early in the going. 20 laps down, 80 laps remaining. And as we, again, take another glance over at the Xfinity Series race, there's 3 laps to go, coming to 2. And Austin Hill has just re-inherited the lead there. It would be his 3rd straight win, I believe, at the Daytona International Speedway. So we'll see if he can hold on to it. About a lap to go to the white flag, but they are duking all over the place as we get ready to hit the white flag over there.
A great racing in the Xfinity race. Nice, calm racing here, but you talk about Tyler Vickery and how he just he's grown with this series. He's what this series is all about. Getting your first starts, he had other starts in FEG, and he had other starts in I think he had like 1 start in PGR, but to see him commit to a series and really grow, and you could see him grow as a driver and learn how to race at a super speedway, and it paid off for him. He had that side draft against Westmoreland to get himself locked in to that little guy series. That's what it's all about.
Yeah, Vickery was one of the guys that was looking at giving up a while back. I remember him being super frustrated like a month ago, saying that he just didn't want to do it anymore because like this group of guys is extremely talented, as we all know.
Sorry, trying to watch the final lap here. They are wrecking. That might just do it from the Xfinity Series race. Doesn't look like anybody's going to catch up to Austin Hill, so looks like Austin Hill is going to get his 3rd straight win at Daytona to open the year in the Xfinity Series opener. That's an incredible streak for him. They wrecked behind him on the last lap. And, yeah, off turn 4, nobody's got anything for him. So William Byron wins the Cup race at Daytona 500, and coming across the line right now as we pace lap 23 here in the Little Guys Series race, Austin Hill has just won the Xfinity Series race from Daytona for Richard Childress Racing.
Great drive from him. And, I mean, he had damage early on after that early pit stop and went to the back with Jesse Love. Jesse Love went middle 3, and they got all stacked up, and he got his right front damage. I really thought his car was killed. And about 5 laps later, he was up front. I mean, just unbelievable. This guy is going to be a force if he gets into a good Cup car on super speedways. Unbelievable.
Well, we figure he's slated to enter a Richard Childress Racing Cup ride in the near future, a 3rd chartered car perhaps going into 2025. I cannot remember. I could have sworn he had signed on to a part-time contract with RCR this year. I can't remember off the top of my head, but I thought he had signed on to some Cup starts for 2024. So we'll wait and see on that. But he does get the job done in the Xfinity Series race with, ironically enough, former teammate Sheldon Creed finishing in 2nd position in his first race with Joe Gibbs tonight in the Xfinity Series in the 18. So good drive from Sheldon Creed as well with his new team to finish in the 2nd position. And that race has just gone checkered from Daytona. So we pivot back over here. We're a quarter way through, and now we're inside of 10 laps until the first of what should be 3 pit stops here in Talladega for this Little Guys Series race. And as we get closer to that first pit stop, nothing's really happened so far, but I believe the pit stops might just change that for these drivers up front.
And the pit stop's going to just bring in the strategy. And you talk about mistakes being amplified in a small field. Well, you don't have to look any further than pit stops. You got to be on your P's and Q's, and we said these guys are very good, but will the pressure get to them in it being a championship race, a little more money on the line? They've worked all season for this, and here you go, pit stops coming, PGR along with BAR.
Let's see if everybody gets on pit road okay. It looks like everybody did. Vickery locks him up, though. Oh, that could be a costly speeding penalty. We'll have to see as he gets down to his box. They do bring the BAR trucks with them, so 6 on pit road here on lap number 26 as they all hit their pit boxes, and J.R. Miller slides through his box. A mistake from the 78 as well. So we'll see how long Tyler Vickery holds in his pit box here on this first pit stop of the night, lap 26. And you mentioned it earlier, we expect the rest of the field to go ahead and pit right here. Ash Brambilla down and away, Raymond Hanneman down and away. But a couple guys staying in their pit boxes. Miller still in his, Vickery out of his, but J.R. Miller is caught in his pit box, so a penalty, I believe, for the 78 of J.R. Miller. That's costly on lap 26.
Yeah, costly for him. Hopefully we make it.
Trouble! Austin
Trouble.
Green's around on pit road. The 87 got hit by Trevor Osbornoth. He went for a slide. Now he got it back going, but Mark Von Dell has been sent into the infield grass to the outside part of pit road. And a mistake there as Osbornoth was trying to get it down to pit road speed, got into the side of Austin Green in the 87, but it looks like no harm, no foul. Everybody's going to get in their pit box and leave Zach Range as the only truck left out on track.
Now you see people taking right sides here. It looks like Austin Green and all the chaos is having to take 4 tires as well. With this, it looks like he may get a penalty as well for getting knocked down too fast. Probably not going to get the black flag cleared here since he's already entered in the box.
So tough break after tough break here for several drivers. J.R. Miller was struck with a penalty on his pit stop. He is currently a lap down and off the draft. So we'll keep an eye on the 78 of Miller. Trevor Osbornoth and Austin Green have both received pit road penalties on this cycle as well. So they remain in their pit box for what's going to seem like an eternity for those two drivers. Zach Range, meanwhile, is just now hitting his pit box, the final one to pit under this cycle. Osbornoth down and away.
We got one turn into the apron.
We got
Carruthers
one off.
doing real good save right there.
Wow, Dustin Carruthers. I saw went off track and thought for sure he was a goner. We'll take a very quick replay look at it. As these guys all blended together, here it is, Carruthers. And looks like a stack up. And yes, a truck into the back of him. That's Ron Morrison. Look at this. Wheeling and dealing on the apron by Dustin Carruthers to keep this truck straight. He's dirt tracking here. Still dirt tracking. Still mowing the grass down here in the apron of turns 3 and 4. But gets it back righted. Now he's going to lose the draft. But, again, could have been a lot worse for the driver of the 10. But, man, a ton of mistakes on this first pit cycle.
Yeah, we talked about the pressure getting to him for the big money. And, I mean, nearly half the field has had problems here. You've had speeding, you've had wrecking down pit road, you had a little bit of a stack up as they got to the slow car, getting Carruthers out of shape. A bunch of big hitters taking big hits early, and you know, a lot of laps to recover, but will the wreck happen? It's a small field. I could see this going green with all the mistakes, and you could have only 4 cars there at the end.
Yeah, and right now you've got 3 McCullough trucks really working hard trying to catch that draft. I don't know if they're going to get it, Baker.
Well, looking here on my end, I think they've got the tail end. It's Larry McDonald, Ron Morris, Mark Von Dell, those 3 trucks, and they are starting to gain time on our leaders. So should be a 9-truck draft when all is said and done. As one truck to the outside, it's Aubrey Thompson, but neither of his teammates wanted to go with him, so they'll have to cycle back to the back end of this line here at the front. And they're about to put J.R. Miller, what's going to be 1 lap down. Now, he was already a lap down when the pit stop cycled. He was able to get back onto the lead lap, but now he'll go a lap down as the leaders cycle past him on lap 29. They also cycle past Trevor Osbornoth. So 3 trucks are now 1 lap down. Osbornoth, Miller, and Austin Green in the 87, and that's 3 of the guys coming into the race that I figure would be pretty close to the top of the board in terms of who is a favorite to win tonight's championship. They're all behind the 8 ball, and Tyler Vickery is next on deck as he has lost the draft as well in 12th position. And, man, really tough break for some big hitters early.
Yeah, just unfortunate. You see a little too wide action back here. Larry McDonald to the outside with Ron Morris Jr. They have caught the draft of these leaders, so they are good to start battling here. Morris going to drop back in line, think a little bit better of it. Mark Von Dell going to stay tucked up. But look for these 3 in the back to try and get there as fast as they can. I mean, those are 3 very, very good trucks. Range is out of the draft because he didn't pit with anyone on the lead lap. He came down by himself from the lead. Carruthers got turned into the grass, and then Green, a lap down, is going to be shoving the back bumper of Dustin Carruthers, but he had a penalty as well. So look for those 3 to try and make their way back up to this lead pack.
9 seconds is tough to make up. It's 8.9 right now. We'll see what kind of work they can do to get back to this lead draft. They're trying everything they can to pick up time for one reason or another. 2 of them still on the lead lap. 1 of them just to try to hang with the other trucks that are 1 lap down and just look for a miracle here as this race continues forward. They are starting to gain time. We are 30 laps in. It's 31 here at the start-finish line. It'll be, I believe, 69 laps to go here from Talladega. 2 pit stops remain in this race at the very least. We expect it to be a 3-stop. It looks like, for the most part, they're going to split it into segments of 25 laps, so we expect pit stops around 25. We got them there. We expect them around 50, and then again around 75 to round out what should be a pretty even 3-stop strategy, at least by the lead group.
Yeah, even 3-stop strategy would be key, I think, for teammates who are around each other, but you split up a lot of teammates. What do you think about running long? What do you think about undercutting? It's things that are running in the back of these guys' minds that are in the trucks. They don't have a crew chief. Maybe they have a crew chief or spotter up there on them for a team, but I don't see anyone else in the Discord with these guys unless they're up headset inside of iRacing. These guys have to make the decision in the truck. That's what makes it a lot harder than real life, is you have to set everything up yourself and with your teammates. You don't have a group of guys behind the pit wall to strategize with you. You don't have a crew chief calling out fuel. You got to make those decisions on your own. And sometimes they work out, sometimes they don't. But it just it shows that these guys know what they're doing when it comes to saving fuel and fuel strategy.
Yeah, and these guys could really just, I like what the guys are doing at the back of this pack, just being back, patient back there, logging laps. It's really going to pay off for them in the end, I think, taking less fuel.
They are able to save gas. The only guy in this group not able to save gas right now is Nash Brampilla, who's led every lap since the pit stop after he cycled back out in front of the rest of these trucks. And yeah, I agree. I think riding at the back here, saving a little bit. Now, granted, if your pit lap is already decided, it's not going to help you a ton. We'll have to see if that little bit of extra fuel that Nash is going to have to take affects him at all compared to the rest of these guys in this pack. But most of these guys, like many of us that run on several of these occasions on a weekly basis, are pretty good at fuel strategy. We have to get pretty good at it on the fly, especially with the kind of racing that we do, especially not a slight to those that are racing on Tuesdays or Thursdays, but those of us that run on the league setting that run these 100-lap races on pretty much a weekly basis. I know I do on Mondays, and fuel strategy is a huge part of those races. It can win or lose you the race, and so you're forced to get good at it and get good at it quick, and these guys are as well. With so many of the rule changes that we see, the fuel load changes that we see throughout the week, these guys have to get good at thinking on the fly, thinking out their pit stops 2-3 stops in advance to get their laps down, to get their strategy down, and to start to work towards that target lap.
You see these 3 trucks, they were about 8 seconds off this time by looking at 8.1. They gained another tenth there. They were about 9 seconds back 3 laps ago, so they're making up ground for sure. You see a little bit of saving going on up front, and that's something I noticed today with the 500. You had AJ Allmendinger, who was half a lap down for what seemed like 25 to 30 laps. And on the spotter, on the scanner, I was listening to Larson, and they were talking about how the leaders were running 50% throttle. It looked like they were moving. I mean, it's hard to say that those cars... Oh, Carruthers gets spun again on the inside. I don't know if he blew the engine or if Austin Green got him loose, but he's down on the apron again. Trouble for Dustin Carruthers yet again.
Oh, man, and this time I don't think he's quite as lucky. I think you're right. Good call. I believe the engine has expired aboard the KSR number 10 machine. And again, that is heartbreak for Dustin Carruthers. Another season where he looks in his dominant form. Appears to have come to an early end tonight as he loses a motor here on lap 36. This is going to be an awfully tough one to come back from. I don't even think he's going to make it down to his pit stall in time to get any repairs done on this truck. That may be the night come to an end for Dustin Carruthers, and that is a tough break because that group was gaining a lot of time, 8 seconds back. Unfortunately, Carruthers does a little bit too much, pushes it over the line, and expires the motor.
Yeah, he's going to lose. He did no fast repair tonight, so he's just going to park it. That'll be the night for him in that number 10 truck. Unfortunate. That was one of the better picks that you could have had. I know he was off the pace by about 8 seconds, and he was trying everything he could to get those guys back up there. But and it's unfortunate for the 2 that were off the pace. I mean, they were gaining a ton of time with him pushing, but you can see what that time got them, and it was a blown motor.
Yeah, it's too bad. Dustin did a really good job, and just trying to get everything he could there.
Unfortunate end to his night and to his season, as for the second straight season, is going to be the end of the road here for Dustin Carruthers in the final race in the Little Guys Series. So, again, heartbreaking. The driver from KSR, as his night comes to an end on something that he couldn't really do a ton about. The engine gives out on him as they were 8 seconds back and making a ton of time. Trevor Osbornoff, by the way, the other KSR entry in the field tonight, a lap down. The first truck a lap down here running with this group right in front of Nash Brambilla, right behind Heath Joe, fifth in line. So we'll see what he can do in the 89, try to get his lap back. J.R. Miller is running with this group as well. Austin Green is off this group as he is about 10 seconds back still with Zach Range. Tyler Vickery even further back than them is already a lap down, getting close to the 2-lap range for the 124. So they're going to need some help here in the form of a caution. And wow, we almost got one back there towards the back. Ron Morris, Aubrey Thompson, Justin Mills. There's some shuffling going on right there at the back as Mills was leading the race, and we've seen several guys do this now. I watched Nash Brambilla do this too, as Nash jumped out of line and went to the tail end to save more fuel. Now David Sheets jumps out of line. Now he's going to the tail end. He's going to drop a couple trucks back and try to find a spot in line. So some creative fuel-saving strategies, as nobody wants to lead the race apparently right now.
Yeah, and I think it's not so much they don't want to lead the races, that they want to get hooked up with teammates. You're going to see Ron Morris probably give David Sheets a break here. They're going to get in line with their teammates. You've got Von Dell right between Mills and Thompson. They are teammates. Mills fell to the back to get with him. So I think you're just seeing those alliances really work out between different teams and different teammates trying to get in line with each other. PGR has been kind of stuck in the middle with it, with JR and Nash. JR is 1 lap down, I believe, and still trying to fight to get that lap back. And he'll go with whatever Nash's strategy is. Up front, though, you've got Raymond Hanneman. He looked really, really well in mid-season, and then got himself locked in with that 3-wide block on Brock Westmoreland. But very strong truck in Raymond Hanneman. I think BAR has a good chance now that Dustin Carruthers is out. Those are 3 very strong trucks once they get hooked up together.
So 40 laps on the board. It'll be 60 to go. We're 10 laps short of halfway already, and I know we said it would take a while to get these laps ticked off, but they have gone pretty quickly. No cautions to speak of yet so far. Wire to wire, 40 laps. As there you see Tyler Vickery. He's going to go a second lap down. Here's the field laps past him in the tri-oval. And it leaves 10 trucks on the lead lap, but Zach Range going to start to lose some time. He'll be next in line to lose another lap. He and Austin Green are going to be the next up that these lead guys catch. Now, it'll be a while, as they are still only 12 seconds in front of that group, but they will catch them here at some point if the race does stay green. Hanneman, Job, Brambilla, McDonald, Sheets, the top 5, only 10 left on the lead lap, and 9 of them in this lead draft. The field quickly whittled from 15 to 9 with a shot at the championship. The race continues to go green with 60 laps to go, and 9 a lot better looking, especially for those guys you just talked about, Baker, and that's the BAR trucks by far in the best spot of it looks to be anyone. Well, McCullough Motorsports has 3 as well. David Sheets, Ron Morris, and Mark Von Dell up here in this lead draft. Other than that, several trucks, only the solo truck on the lead lap as they run right now.
Yeah, right now Job's doing a really good job just controlling the pace of this race. Not making any real crazy pushes, and everyone's just logging laps here. We got pit stops coming up in another 10-15 laps, and here we go with catching another car. Or
well,
that's Hanneman actually.
Yeah, jumps to the outside to drop to the back. So again, another guy leads a few laps and says, well, I'm burning too much gas up here. I'm going to drop out. I'm going to go to the back, and we're going to try to reset and save some gas here late in the run. And so here we go with 8 laps to go probably until our pit stops. We're figuring right around lap 50 for our race leaders to pit once again. Do want to update really quickly. Apparently it was a very surprise motor expiration for Dustin Carruthers. It apparently took him by surprise. The temperatures were apparently not very high under the hood of that 10. It was, I guess, out of the blue, which is weird. Usually it'll blink red at you when you're getting close to blowing up. Apparently no warning, no indication. He was still well within the range that you can push in these trucks. The engine expires on him anyway. Interesting development to look forward to later in the race. Interesting for the guys running up front, considering they might not have to push it as far as they have in the past to blow the motor.
Yeah, it just and the weather makes no sense for it to really blow up without it being, ultra hot. I mean, the track temp's at 125, but you got your ambient temps at 65. The relative humidity, you're sitting at 0, so the car's not bogged down. These trucks are running really clean, and I just think he was tucked up to the back bumper for such a long time that as soon as he got a breath of fresh air to try and maybe cool it down just a tad, get it out of the orange, it just grenaded on him. I've seen it happen before in these trucks. It doesn't happen very often. It's really unfortunate that it happened to him now in this championship.
And here you got a move by Vondell coming to the outside here. Where's that Sheets?
David
Sheets and Ron Morris up on the outside, the first to make a move. Interesting decision. The McCullough Motorsports trucks want to get ahead of it here and get some track position. And look at this. Now all of a sudden there's going to be some takers. Here come the PGR boys up the outside as well. Tyler Vickery's caught the draft. Now Morris takes a look to the outside of his teammate. And this is going to be a weird look here for McCullough Motorsports. Yep, that was too late from David Sheets. He's going to get hung in the middle and go backwards here in the one. So very awkward look there at the tail end of the tri-oval. And, wow, they're really scrambling now. The Hyper Trucks going to benefit the most out of this as long as they are able to stay in line. But, man, the middle and outside very dysfunctional here off turn number 2.
We got 3-wide action on the track for the first time. You see Nash Brambilla getting pushed by his teammate J.R. Miller. J.R. Miller, that one truck a lap down, with Vickery also a lap down, but he's going to clear both of the PGR guys in his first race with PGR to the bottom. PGR to the lead, Nash Brambilla.
Yeah, that was a really close call. I think Morris was trying to get down, and or Sheets was hoping Morris would get down. He just didn't get down in time.
Yeah, it just didn't work out now. Actually, it does kind of work out for him now because Sheets was able to hold on to the back bumper of his teammate Ron Morrison. They are hanging tough, and now Tyler Vickery is going to hang around with him here. As he's 2 laps down, he could benefit from jumping in front of the leaders here if he can get all the way to the front of this group. We'll have to see if he can pass a couple more of these trucks. But Nash Brambilla, J.R. Miller decided to go to the front of the group. Brambilla spent about 8 laps or so at the tail end, just, saving some gas after leading every lap since the pit stop. But now he goes back to the front and decides to get in position for pit stops. At least that's how I see this, is that these guys here going to the front, the McCullough trucks, the PGR trucks, want to get to the front of the group so that when they pit, they can cycle out in front because they saw what happened to the guys tail into the first draft that pit on the first pit stop.
Yeah, they're just trying to get out front, get that track position. It emulates real life, and they're just trying to get out front, not only for the track position, but to maybe break if they have those mistakes that happened in the last pit cycle. I don't think you'll see these guys make the same mistake twice, to be honest. It's unfortunate for Austin Green. The mistake is amplified. It's unfortunate for, Vickery and JR, but now they are here together with their teammate to get lined up and at least help try and get that teammate to victory lane and keep themselves in a position to where they can get that lucky dog or wave around if the caution comes out.
Another interesting battling going on right here is Vickery and Osterroth fight for that lucky dog in case you do get a caution at some point, which is pretty unlikely with a pack this size, and you got to look by Vickery on the outside.
Well, you got Vickery 2 laps down. Sorry to cut you off there, Dawson, but Vickery being 2 laps down, I'd play it a little more safe if I was him. You're not going to get that lap back because you're not 1 lap down. It's going to be the first lap car on the 1 lap down that'll get it back. So I would, if I was him, I'd back off, stay at the back of this lead draft. I know you're trying to help your teammates out, but going 3 wide with no support there isn't really going to help you out too much. As you see Nash Brambilla go up for that block in front of Ron Morris Jr. Now both trucks are clear to the bottom. Nash back to the bottom. You see J.R. Miller getting tight back to the bumper here, but everyone's still keeping it really clean.
Well, for me, for Vickery, I think the best thing that could happen to him here, and I think what he may be banking on running in this lead draft, trying to run up front in this lead draft, if you'll remember back, about the 3rd or 4th race of the season, I can't remember which off the top of my head, when the Hyper Trucks pit, they had a couple spinners off pit road that brought out a caution, at the end of that pit cycle and helped a couple guys get back into contention in the race, get a lap back perhaps. So if Hickory can be in a good spot, perhaps he maybe takes an extra lap, gets one of them back, gets a quick caution. Now he's only a lap down. I think that's what he might be banking on here, is that some problems on the pit stop may bring out a caution. Here as we get close to halfway, we expect pit stops in the next 2 laps. At least if we're basing it on 25, these guys will be on pit road in about the next 2 laps' time, with only 9 trucks in the lead. Trapped on the lead lap. Oh, almost contact. There's Sheets. Followed his teammate down. No harm, no foul. Man, that was lucky between Brambilla and Sheets, as David Sheets almost caused the caution that several of these guys were looking for.
Yeah, you saw David kind of follow Ron down the track. Ron was barely clear, but Sheets was getting towards the door of Nash there, very close, and they're chattering on the radio back and forth at each other right now. You got the instigator and Trevor Osborne saying, hell yeah, do it again. He needs that lap back. So these guys are really mixing it up right now. Front 3 clear on the bottom.
Well, no surprise, Trevor Osborne vocal as usual in the 89, as he really would like that lap back. Now, problem for him is he's going to have to stay in front of J.R. Miller. Unfortunately for him, he's 2 trucks back of Miller right now. So even you wouldn't even get the lap back, at least in terms of the lucky dog, if they were to have a caution right now. Lap 50 is on the board. They're going to bypass pit road this time. We expect them here in the next 1 to 2 laps. At least many of our leaders that are on that initial strategy, they last pit on lap 26 of this race. So we expect them in the next couple laps. They want to make it a 3-stop strategy. We expect them in the next couple laps time. How about Ron Morris? He drove all the way to the lead. As we were watching all that shuffling going on with David Sheets, we did neglect to mention that Ron Morris has inherited the lead, and he's now in front of Nash Brambilla, as well as David Sheets, Heat Job, Larry McDonald, now the top 5. Both the Hyper trucks in a really good spot here as we get ready for this second pit stop.
Yeah, Hypers ran a really clean race. Stayed on the bottom, stayed within a truck of each other. Heat Job, we talked about him early in the race. He led a lot of laps, but that's the thing. They just both have kept their head on their shoulders, and you see trucks possibly looking for pit road this time. Not this time by, I think they saw 25 laps. They wanted to make it an even strategy, but it just doesn't make sense, especially the position that they put themselves in. 30 laps, 31 laps of tank. I thought you would either run it all the way out or try and undercut and then run it all the way out. But, this even strategy is like the worst of both of those worlds. You're still going to have to take 2 cans doing the 25 lap strategy. So I think you try and stretch it out. That way you can try and make that last stop a 1 can.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you there, Baker. And I definitely wouldn't want to get caught with my pants down either, going early and the rest of the pack going long. I mean, then you're in real trouble.
Here we go. This will be an even 26-lap run, just like the first one off turn 4. Does anybody die for pit road? They must have listened to your guys' advice. They don't. They stay on the racetrack. Now they would be able to go to about lap 57 or so about another 5 laps until we see them on pit road if they run it all the way out. Again, if they were to run it 31 laps to tank, it'd be 57 and then 88 for the money stop with about 13 laps to go, coming to 12 laps to go, which would be a very short pit stop, less than half a tank if you were to run it all the way out. So I think you guys are right. I think that's the play, and I think that's what these drivers are going to do, as David Sheets is still hanging up on the outside trying to get to the front, but Hickory now says, I'm a little bit out of patience, and decides to try to go around him. It's going to send both of them to the tail end of this lead draft. Here on lap 53. That's the only 2-wide battle on the racetrack right now. It's back there around Sheets and Hickory. It's still all Morris, Brambilla, Sheets, Job, and Larry McDonald, the top 5 off turn 4.
Yeah, Hickory thinks the 3-wide move works all the time, no matter what position you're in. He made that bold move to the outside to get that transfer spot into the championship race, and he thinks he can do it every lap. He'll learn for sure, but he's looking strong though. No, he's a lap down, 2 laps down, but maybe no more mistakes on pit road. Get a little bit of luck to swing his way, and you'll see him trying to make that 3-wide move for the win. But Sheets getting it. I think Sheets is getting impatient. He tried to back out of it to try and find a spot in line. He's getting a lot closer to this bottom line, which tells me they're looking for pit stops. Watch for Sheets to check up here and try and get in line here behind Larry McDonald. I don't think Mills is going to have anything of it, but he does. David Sheets down to the bottom.
All right, off turn 4 again. 54 is here and gone. Again, they bypass pit road. We expect them on a full tank to go about 2 or 3 more laps to 56, 57 would be their new target lap for a pit stop. And we get prepped for a second stop. We saw so many mistakes on the first stop. Oswald and Green both get hit with penalties, as does J.R. Miller getting into their box. Tyler Vickery, bit of a slow stop, loses the draft. And those 4 now in a pretty rough spot. Don't forget Zach Range waited. Everybody behind him pit. He was forced to pit by himself, and now has lost the draft. He's 22 seconds back of the leaders. So a lot of mistakes on the first round. It's in the back of these drivers' minds for sure. They know now that the mistakes are possible. They got to try not to repeat them here as we come off turn 4. Does anybody pit this time? Off turn 4. Anybody going to take it? No. They stay on the racetrack one more time. Couple looked. Now the PGR guys dive really late. That did not work for them at all. That did not work. Brambilla tried to dive off late, and I believe it's going to get hit with a penalty here as he drifted the tires off into the grass. We'll see as he hits his pit box, and that does not work the way Nash Brambilla thought it would.
Yeah, that's too bad. Nash didn't need to make that move that late. I didn't see anybody commit behind.
This is a tough break for Nash, who not only now misses pit road and I believe is going to get hit with a penalty, and an extended stay on pit road tells me, yes, a penalty on Nash Brambilla, but it also loses the draft for J.R. Miller. Now I think he may still have the tail end, but man, nobody pit with him either. So again, just a weird move to pit road. The BAR truck's going to pit here on 56. That's Hanneman, Mills, and Aubrey Thompson as they dip off at the tail end of the field. As Nash Brambilla going to go a lap down on pit road. And that leaves us with 9 on the lead lap and only 8 of the original 15 in this lead draft. And with the race going into its second pit cycle, the chance of a caution continues to decrease every time we drop a truck off this lead draft.
Nash Brambilla getting off pit road now. I would, if I were him, try and check up, stay with the front 3 that are going to be coming off of pit road here soon. To try and keep that lap ahead. He may be able to hook up with Austin Green and Zach Range. I don't think he will, though. He's kind of stuck in no man's land, but look for more pit stops coming here this next time.
Right now, the leaders coming off from 4. They're all coming to pit road right here, I believe, as they all dip off.
They all dip for pit road. J.R. Miller tried to, but... And we got a miss by J.R. Miller, so it's twice. He misses the pit lane on this cycle, and for a guy that was already a lap down, that's unfortunately another tough break for him. The last 5 are on pit road now. At least the last 5 in the lead draft that were on the lead lap. Sheets, Joe Vondell, McDonald, and Ron Morris Jr. So we will wait and see how this goes for them. Osbernoth, Austin Green join them on pit road, so the cycle will end one more time here on lap 57.
Well, this is going to be interesting. You see the BAR guys are pretty separated. They only have 2 trucks with them lined up. Raymond Hanneman pretty far back. You're going to see this second group.
Trouble! Heat Job's around on pit road. Hate to cut you off, Baker, but Heat Job goes for a slide, and for a split second I thought that was going to bring out the caution and change this entire race, but it does not. They stay under the green flag, but Heat Job in trouble at the end of pit road.
Yeah, unfortunate there on the pit road cycle, but the 2 BAR guys able to get off pit road pretty well. Even though they weren't connected, all 2 of them got off pretty well. They're going to catch Larry McDonald, Mark Vondell, and Ron Morris Jr. here off pit road.
You see Osbernoth, he will cycle out with this group as well, and that's going to be a really interesting factor here as he's one of the only guys that was a lap down before that's going to catch this lead draft. There go the BAR trucks to the outside of the racetrack. Huge run. It's Justin Mills and Aubrey Thompson to the outside. They inherit the race lead. Great pit stop by them. And now, notably, their teammate Raymond Hanneman. He's got the tail end of this draft. And he's about 7/10 back along with David Sheets, who he stopped to pick up along the way and bring him back into this race as well. Heat Job has lost the draft. Zach Range not able to gain any more time on that pit stop. Nash Brambilla next up on tap to be lapped, and that is potentially not what Trevor Osbernoth wants to see, as if a caution comes out right now, he'd be in the catbird seat as the only guy lapped down. Whoa, the BAR trucks go way wide out of 2 and go to the back to save fuel at the end of this very small lead draft.
Yeah, it's not a bad play by those guys. I mean, they're working really well together when they get hooked up after the pit stops, and, they're going to get hooked up here behind behind those 4 trucks and just ride.
So Larry McDonald now leads the race for Hyper Motorsports. He's going to use Trevor Osbornoff as a method of saving fuel here. Just kind of push him along, keep the line moving, but also keep himself in the draft and able to save some gas. Mark Vondell for McCullough Motorsports. His teammate Ron Morris runs second and third. And it's the 3 BAR teammates, and that's notable. They have the biggest contingent left in this lead draft. They have 3. McCullough Motorsports has actually also 3. David Sheets tails onto the back end of this draft as well. So a potential 3v3 brewing, and the odd man out here is going to be Larry McDonald for Hyper Motorsports as his teammate Heath Job experiences issues on pit road. Another set of mistakes has whittled our lead draft, or at least our lead lap cars in this draft, down to 7 as we approach 40 laps to go.
Yeah, and Larry McDonald, he's going to work with the McCullough boys. He's worked with all 3 of these guys. They're really good friends with Larry. They've known him for years. And it's really awesome to see Larry McDonald leading this race, running a very smart, very, very patient race. He's been on the bottom. He's in the lead now. But, I mean, he has just hit his P's and Q's on pit road, stayed with the lead draft, not made any mistakes, and he's up front here leading this race with 40 laps to go, like you said. And McCullough Motorsports also doing great on pit stops. All 7 of these lead draft, lead lap cars doing an unbelievable job.
I mean, you've also got Mark Vondell running right there in second with him. I mean, what a great run by Mark. Just no mistakes, like you said, and Ron behind him. You know, just these guys being really solid on the pit stops, not making a mistake.
Trouble for Zach Range. Looks like he got a pit road drive-through. May have been speeding or unsafe pit exit. One of the 2 there. Did his drive-through. Now he's exiting, and he will go a lap down here soon.
Just to add to the storylines of guys that have made mistakes that may just end their chance at a championship tonight. And we saw the penalty for Nash Brambilla. We saw the penalty for his teammate J.R. Miller. We saw the issues for Tyler Vickery as well, as he was hit with a pit road penalty, as was Austin Green, as was Trevor Osbornoff, who right now is scored on the lead lap, but again, running at the front of this group is at the very tail of the lead lap. So if a caution were to come out now, he would benefit greatly being in front of the leaders and just be able to cycle back around. But as it is right now, very, very close to going a lap down again should the leaders decide to dump him off at any point in this run. David Sheets, Nash Brambilla going to jump to the outside here, and Ron Morris is going to go with him. We're getting a little bit racy, and guys, we haven't quite gotten the last pit stop yet. Feels like it's a little bit early to be going too wide trying to race. This presents an opportunity for a mistake here at the front of the field.
Oh, you can see an undercut too. You have so little trucks here in this lead pack, and undercut could work out for him. So you look for track position to be gained by McCullough Motorsports and get out front, try and break away, wait for some more mistakes, try and get Ron Morris and David Sheets clear. Not going to happen. Ron Morris Jr., the only one clear on the outside. Getting around Trevor Osbornoff, who was there just at the end of the lead lap, and now he goes back to being a lap down, being the first car 1 lap down to be in that lucky dog spot.
Morris and David Sheets go back to the lead here. I really like to play. Get out front, get everybody running the pace you want to run.
Well, and it puts their trucks 1, 2, 4 here in the form of McCullough Motorsports. Morris, Sheets, Vondell now run first, second, and fourth. Osbornoff, the sandwich truck. And what I was going to say is this got to be torture for a guy like Nash Brambilla, who all of a sudden now, number 1, sees the field lapped by Zach Range, who might just catch on this group, but as well as see Osbornoff now become the lucky dog truck third in line on the inside and know there's not really much he can do about it running back where he is. He'd rather they have left Osbornoff where he was, left him alone in the front, so if a wreck happened, he could get his lap back as well. So torture for Brambilla. He does actually stop to pick up Zach Range, which I think is interesting, as Range will catch on to this lead draft now and be another lap down truck that these leaders have to contend with. With 36 to go at the line, the undercut, if it will happen, will be in about 5 laps, make it 6. With about 30 and 31 laps to go is when we would see these guys on pit road to undercut this last pit stop, and I would not be surprised to see several, especially the teams, try that strategy here in a few laps.
Again, you see Ron Morris controlling his destiny out front. Run a great race so far with David Sheets. To the veterans here in the money racing scene. good to see them up front. You had Tyler Vickery come back down pit road for a fuel stop. Don't know if he's trying to just play his odds to get back with the lead draft and get his laps back that way, but just unfortunate for him. Not gonna be the result he wanted tonight unless he gets a couple cautions thrown his way. But look for him to maybe get a couple laps back here if chaos ensues.
Well, it just begs the question now, especially once this last pit stop is over with, which we expect the field, if they are to cut this run short, and come to pit road here in about 5 laps to just go ahead and get the pit stop out of the way, it just begs the question, how racy does this field get? Now, you know that the guys running 5th, 6th, 7th especially are not going to be content running 5th, 6th, 7th. That's the BAR trucks of Mills, Thompson, and Hanneman. I don't think Larry McDonald will be content finishing 3rd behind 2 guys not on his team at Hyper Motorsports. So my question is, how racy do these guys get? How quickly do they get racy? Do we even see a capability of a wreck? Obviously, with the stakes on the line, I feel like it's a bit bigger chance tonight than it would have been maybe a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, you hear a little bit of radio station from Trevor more from David Sheets. Not let him know that he doesn't like the bump he's getting from Trevor saying he won't get the lucky dog. Keep pushing like that. You're going to get incident, and you're not going to get that lucky dog. But he's just trying to stay up there, keep this pace going. And I understand where Trevor's head is at, frustrated with what's happened in this race, and just trying to recover. He's in the best spot of all the lap trucks. I think if he just keeps his distance and David Sheets here, he has a good chance of getting that lap back. He's the leader here at pit. He can stay out one extra lap, try and get around, these lap cars to where he's on the lead lap. And if they wreck on pit road, he's got that lap back.
33 laps to go as we pass by the start-finish line. Still Morris, Sheets, McDonald, Vondell, Mills, your top 5 on the racetrack. Will get confusing a little bit as they run around all these lap trucks here at the front of the field. Notably Trevor Osborne splitting up the lead group right now. So as we wait for this pit stop, and again, 3 laps from now would be when the window opens. I'm not sure. Undercutting just does not seem to work recently. Now, I would not be surprised to see guys try it, but I don't really expect it. We'll have to wait and see, I guess. But I don't expect it. But in 3 laps' time will be when that window opens. You see guys further back. Looks like they're starting to save a little bit of gas. Don't know what they're going to try to accomplish here, but this line has separated a ton, especially about halfway back and further.
Yeah, I just think we're going the distance here. We talked about it. I think you try and pull the fuel all the way out, make the stop as short as possible, or you undercut and make the stop as short as possible.
Yeah, I'd agree. I think you just gotta. Hopefully, these guys at the back are just saving fuel. I think I see a few of them back there, just been riding back there the whole time, and it definitely is a smart play.
Morris, Sheets, McDonald, Vondell, Mills. Nothing changes here at the front. It'll be 32 laps to go, and some sound issues, but I think they are fixed. I'm watching on my end every time I look up at where I've got my audio settings at. But again, let me know. Yeah, again, keep letting us know, because I saw it, but I was right in the middle of a sentence, so I wasn't able to really say much about it. But again, let us know if there's any sound issues. We'll try to get those fixed. But everything's good on my end so far here with 31 laps to go. Windows open, guys. Pay windows open if anybody wants to come to pit road. Do we expect anyone to pit? I don't know. The BAR guys are who I'm looking at here if anybody undercuts this.
Well, I see Austin Green coming into the field of view for these guys, and that's another truck that's going to be added to the Kenneth McCullough Motorsports staple here. So if he gets lined up, gets in this draft, look for him to pit with these guys and try and get away.
Yeah, I think they're going to try to pick up Austin here. It's definitely going to be helpful, that McCullough group, for sure.
First 2 don't dive out, neither does Vondell, but Austin going to get in front of Nash Brambilla, and it looks like he's going to catch the end of this draft. So Austin Green going to play a factor in this race. Now he's 2 laps down, but could absolutely help the Ron Morris, David Sheets, Mark Vondel contingent go to victory lane and win a championship. And at the very least, keep the championship at home at McCullough Motorsports, which would be a back-to-back championship win by that group. As last season's champ Josh McCulley's been rooting his boys on hard tonight in the chat. He's still doing so. Watching from afar, a little bit more stressful, as some have found out, than racing on the racetrack. Off turn 4, pay windows open, 30 laps to go. Does anybody dive to pit road? No, they do not. They stay on the racetrack. So with 30 laps to go, they bypass it once again. It'll be 29 at the line, and now we just await that last pit stop, the money stop coming up.
Yeah, and I keep wanting to say Ron Morris Racing or Ron Morris Motorsports because he's just out leading all these laps. Really strong truck out here with a really strong pusher in David Sheets, but McCullough Motorsports showing really strong. Vondel, another truck that's kept his nose clean this whole time, minded his P's and Q's. Look for him to be there at the end, but you know, the pit window's open, pay window's open. You've got the money stop on the line here. Do you see trucks come down this time? I don't know if you really do. I think you see Larry Mack saving a bunch of fuel back there. You see BAR saving a bunch of fuel. They may want to go the distance here, see how far they can plan it out.
Yeah, I see that too. There's been, like you said, a bunch of guys in the middle of the pack this whole run that have been really content just sitting there. And all they've done is save fuel. Well, you know, right now Ron's burning fuel out front. It's going to be interesting to see how this plays out when they get to pit road.
Morris, Sheets, McDonald, Vondel, Mills, Thompson, Hanneman, the 7 in the lead draft of the original 15 that currently have a shot at our championship in about 28 laps from now. We're almost 3/4 of the way home. You see Tyler Vickery up ahead of the leaders. He's going to lose a third lap here as they lap by him. Just not the night that he wanted tonight. Did not go his way in the 124, but made a statement this season. Certainly going to be a force to be reckoned with if he does make the return in the next season. Man, Oswornoth is backed way off these McCullough trucks. Not sure what the play is here on the 89 of Oswornoth, but look at the gap that he's got between him and the back bumper of David Sheets. Almost 2 full trucks separate those two now. Not sure what's going on, but the pace back down from Oswornoth on back as Sheets and Morris have been able to pull away to about a 2-car length lead here on a super speedway, which is very rare. Very odd look here at the front.
Yeah, you just see Oswornoth buying his time for the pit stops. McDonald not really frustrated with him in front of him, backing off so much. He knows he's saving more fuel doing that. You see Oswornoth getting to the back bumper now of Sheets. They're tucking that line back up, but everyone just biding time, getting ready for these pit stops. Vondel off the 80 car by about 2 truck lengths now, back to about 1.5. But, you know, it's not a nice, patient, clean race that we're seeing here. Zach Range back into the lead pack draft here, being a lap down. Austin Green as well, and Nash Brambilla. A bunch of lap trucks are going to make this race very interesting when it comes down to it.
Nothing changing here at the front. About 25 laps to go, to be 25 even next time by the flag stand, and this is how it's been since that last pit stop. Heath Job J.R. Miller, the first to come to pit road. Job had been about a half a lap down since that pit stop. Miller had already been a lap down before that pit stop. Obviously got a penalty on the first stop of the night. So they are both on the pit road for their final service of the evening. Obviously they need a miracle here late in this race. Oswornoth, Range, Brambilla are the ones here in the lead draft that really could use it. Pit stops, 26 to go. It's the McCullough boys as well as Trevor Oswornoth, Larry McDonald, and Zach Range are going to hit pit road with 25 laps to go at Talladega. Split strategy. BAR stays on the racetrack, and they drag with them Nash Brambilla and Tyler Vickery of Team PGR. So here we go, guys. Pit stops are underway. Now, if you're the BAR trucks here, the top 3 on the racetrack, what do? Do you stay out, run it dry, or do you go ahead and come down pit road here with 25 to go?
Oh, Mark Vondel with issues. He got into the inside wall on pit road. He's going to lose these front guys. Unfortunate from Vondel. Slow stop for him.
Yeah, I definitely like to play the BAR guys right here. I think they put themselves in a good shot to go long. They get 10 laps.
Sheets around.
David Sheets has crashed here on the apron of the pit lane on the exit, and it's all falling apart.
Right here.
And they're coming to pit road, and they could not have timed this better if they're BAR. Incredible timing. David Sheets has gone for a spin on the apron on the pit exit. McCullough Motorsports, just a disaster there on the exit of the pit road as two of their trucks have problems. The BAR guys all on pit road. A-OK, no harm, no foul. Will they be able to get off pit road will be the question now. Will they have any mistakes exiting? We'll have to wait and see.
Hamman had a slow stop. He overshot his box. Now he's getting left side tires put on this. He's out and away. He's still going to be okay, though. I think he got it backed up in time. They're still going to come out together.
Yeah, as long as they don't leave him here, that's the problem. They're pulling away already.
I'm waiting to see the gap. It is starting to close. He's got it well within a second, so they are pedaling a little bit here to try to get Raymond Hanneman back in it. I think they're well within range to go now. Raymond coming with a big head of steam. He is foot through the firewall here on the exit of turn number 2, but unfortunately for these guys, there's a train coming, but it's a lot further back than I anticipated. How about BAR? What a pit stop by these three guys with 24 laps to go.
Yeah, you're going to see really good pushing out of Larry McDonald trying to get to the back bumper of Trevor Osmanoff and catch the sleep pack. Mark Vondell to the back bumper of Ron Morris Jr. Austin Green going to hang back, though, off of his teammates. Not going to push him up like he would want to. They're going to side draft this top lane. I just want to say one thing. Mark Vondell put it in the inside wall and somehow kept this lead draft with these guys. Granted, they're far behind these BAR guys, but if they just put their heads together, they can track these guys down pretty quick.
2.3 seconds.
Baker.
Oh, go ahead.
I agree, Baker. If they would have gone long, it would have been gone. They had a couple cars that they could have kept going with, but that group, if they get together here, I think they'd definitely run them down.
The gap is 2.3 seconds. Back to Larry McDonald. It is closing. Now it's closing slowly, but it is closing little by little. It's 2.2 seconds, so these guys will get run down. Should that group be able to stay in line and just keep on pushing? It is currently led by Larry McDonald. Make that Trevor Osmanoff pushed by Larry McDonald. He's doing a good job right now. They're only about a half second off of draft range as McDonald tries everything he can to get himself an opportunity to win the championship. So far, about a half second. I'll tell you what, they're going to start to run out of laps, and I'll tell you now, the BAR guys have plateaued this gap just a little bit. They're pushing as hard as they can, trying to stay out front of these trucks in the second draft.
Yeah, if I'm this second pack, I'm looking for Austin Green to get up there and do the pushing. Yes, Larry Mack is very good in these trucks, but I trust him as one of the best pushers, even though he is a lap down. Larry Mack trying to control his own destiny by pushing here, but he needs a little more help. Zach Range not tucked to the back bumper. He's got to help him out to get him to the front.
Yeah, this first group trucks is doing a really good job of staying tucked up together. It's not easy with three, as we all know, as that looks like that second group's running him down a little bit here off of 4.
1.7 seconds, and now well within draft range. Excellent work by the second group. Really great work by Larry McDonald. He should have this group well within time to be able to draft up and catch these trucks. Now the question will be, there'll be 20 laps to go when they get here, if not less than that, when this group of trucks gets into the back of this draft. There are 3 on the lead lap, McDonald, Morris, and Vondell. So it'll be 6 drivers for 3 spots in the championship. And a lot of lap trucks going to play an effect here. They're going to have to decide where they want to go, who they want to tend their loyalties to. Here is everybody tries to find a dance partner. How racy do they get when they get there? They got a huge head of steam coming up on the 3 leaders.
Big head of steam. You're going to see Osmanoff either take that run or he's going to drop to the back, let Larry Mack try and find it out himself. You're going to see Ron Morris Jr. and Mark Vondell go to the high side. I don't think Austin Green's going to be one to stay back. I think he's going to try and help his team. Hey, whoa, I don't know what's going on. BAR going to the top of the track. Maybe they're going to go to the middle line here. Odd look from the trucks. You don't see this often.
I'm not saying I disagree with the move, Baker. I mean, I'd rather be up top than buried on the bottom. You know, the 3 trucks are hooked up together. They kind of control their destiny as long as they're together.
If they stay on the bottom here, they run the risk of getting buried, as we like to call it, behind several rows of trucks and then potentially not having anything to do when they get to it. Doing this, they're at least able to control, like you said, control where they go. Now, I don't know if I agree with staying way up against the wall. I would almost stay up front, try to side draft here and stay with the front of the field. They obviously have a different plan. I'll tell you what, they're going to the back. I think they're going to the back. I guess just to leave their options open, but again, I don't necessarily disagree with it. Here's why. They only got to pass 3 trucks to win the championship here. So, you know what? I don't mind it. This is an interesting look from the guys from BAR, but they obviously have some kind of plan in place here late in the going.
Yeah, but here's the thing is now you have Austin Green in the mix. Now you have Zach Range in the mix. Now you have Trevor Osbornoff in the mix. It's not just getting around 3 trucks. It's getting around 6 trucks. And I don't care if you got 3 lined up on the outside. If they start to go, Vondell's going up. And who else is going? Austin Green, Ron Morris Jr., and I think Larry McDonald's in one of the best spots here.
Yeah, I'd absolutely have to agree. Those guys have put themselves in a tough spot. It's ballsy for sure.
If it pays off, remember that moment when they went to the outside wall and just decided, you know what? We don't want to run the risk of just being in that spot where we know they're going to go. We just don't know when. We'd rather be the ones that dictate the move. Now, you're right. They are a little ways back, and you said Austin Green was going to go. It's go time for the McCullough Motorsports trucks. Potentially, Morris and Green out to the outside. They wait on Vondell. Larry McDonald's leaning. He thought about throwing a block, but those guys coming on way too strong on the end of the back straightaway. Here comes Ron Morris. He wants the race lead. Vondell, notably, stayed tucked on the bottom here. He's yet to go with his teammates. Off turn number 4, still waiting. And now there goes the 59. McCullough Motorsports says it's go time with 18 laps to go. New leader in the Trial, Ron Morris Jr.
And now you got 3 McCullough Motorsports trucks lined up in the middle. Very, very scary stuff for the field here. And who's pushing Austin Green? One of the best pushers. Yes, BAR is going to go to the outside. They're going to have some sort of shot, but I think Austin Green is good enough to manage his temps here to get Ron Morris the win. And Larry Mack is okay with pushing second on the bottom. He can get second if he wants to. Mark Vondell falling off the pace a little bit. Now you see 2 trucks lined up on the outside. Zach Range moves up to the outside, and you see Ron Morris Jr. clear to the bottom.
And now Austin's going to fall back because, I mean, he gets his teammate up there. What a great move by a teammate being a lap down. Just doing what he can to help.
There's a little impatience out of BAR. They get out of line. They get back in line by 3. They're still in a good spot. I mean, you can gin up a run in these trucks and fly on the outside if you're hooked up by 3. But that's the thing. You have to stay connected. And Austin Green and Zach Range are going to clog up that middle line as lap cars, and it's going to be tough going all the way to the top of 3 wide.
And you think about it, you got 3 lap cars right there. You got Osbornoff, Green, and Range. And, you know, Morris is looking great sitting up front now.
Morris has a defensive line almost, if you will, behind him here with lap trucks. One of them is his teammate. The other one is Trevor Osbornoff, who is going to want to sit right here in case something happens around him. He can potentially get the lucky dog, which is what Zach Range has on his mind as well, which I think is why he's going to the outside, trying to throw a little bit of a Hail Mary for his race right here with 16 laps to go, because he knows these guys are going to get racy. And these BAR trucks, I'll tell you this much, to me, and guys, you can feel free to correct me if I'm wrong, but to me it looks like they're starting to save some engine temperatures. I think they're starting to prep those trucks for that run that they're going to make, just riding for now, keeping everything fresh so that when it's time to go, they don't have to worry about that part of it. They can push as long as they want and get all the way to the front. That's what it looks like to me, is they are very separated there at the tail end of the group.
Yeah, they're doing a good job just keeping the truck safe. You know, they're going to have a shot. They have the numbers in the team. They've been the only team to really execute well. They had a little bit of mix-up with Hanneman, 2 pit stops in a row with overshooting his box, but they were able to come out together. You see Ron Morris Jr. trying to manage the lines here, manage the temps that he needs to. Range is getting a little hot on the outside. I'd look for Ron Morris to maybe jump up there, give aid to his teammate whenever the run comes back to him from that top line. But I think when push comes to shove, all Morris really has to do is step up to that middle line with Green, with all those fresh temps, and he will come home a winner.
I agree right now. Ron Morris is sitting in the catbird seat just waiting to see what happens behind.
Well, it's still Green and Range. They're doing a good job so far just clogging that middle line, just being pests, being pesky here at the front of the field, just biding their time, hoping something happens, maybe just trying to find a miracle. And for Austin's case, trying to help his teammate get to victory lane and win a championship. As it stands right now, 2 of the McCullough entries in tonight's race, Morris and Vondell, will be on the championship podium. A $350 McCullough Motorsports payout would be the case right now. Osbornoth plays audible, though. He steps out of line here with 14 laps to go, gets his lap back the hard way, and does Austin Green think about taking a step higher? I think he did for a second, thought about going upstairs to the safer barrier. Now tucks back in line. Now that middle lane really clogged with lap trucks. As Morris, if he gets bypassed right here, that good spot turns into a bad spot if Osbornoth jumps down in front of him.
This still isn't a bad spot for McCullough Motorsports. I mean, you got Austin Green pushing the what essentially is like that lap car blocker again, clogging up that lane.
A blink from Larry McDonald, second on the bottom behind Ron Morris, been able to get right back to it. And, I mean, we know the situation now. 3 McCullough trucks here in this lead group, Morris, Vondel, Green. And we'll have to see with 13 laps to go. I don't think they're going to catch David Sheets. He's 32 seconds back. I don't think they're going to quite get to him in time for potentially him to play a part in this finish. Perhaps we'll have to wait and see. Osbornoth will get clear of Ron Morris and will drop down. So now the situation changes a little bit. As Austin Green, Zach Range will still be up there, and Morris, I would not be surprised to see him jump right back out to the high line when he gets a chance. There he goes.
There he
On
goes.
cue. Ron Morris Jr., right as I said, it goes up to the front bumper of his teammate Austin Green and says, nope, you're not going to bury me on the bottom. I'm going to go right back to the lead. Leapfrogs Trevor Osbornoth, and we're right back where we started with 12 laps to go. Ron Morris, petty but effective, gets back to the race lead here in 3 and 4 using the front bumper of his teammate Austin Green, who still has relatively fresh temperatures. This is looking really, really good here for Ron Morris.
It is, and you'll see those BAR guys start to come into play in about 2 or 3 laps. I think as Trevor Osbornoth jump to the top, he's going to get a push from Austin Green. Once he gets clear, he'll come back to the bottom. We're going to play a little do-si-do here from the top and middle lines. Austin Green stepped out with that
Austin
range.
splits him.
Oh, boy. I knew it was going to happen at some point. Osbornoth scrambling now, going to try to find a spot in line perhaps. Green able to jump down. Range not, though, so the middle line starts to die. This is not what Ron Morris wants to see, as that middle line starts to lose some ground. By the end of it, by the time it's said and done, BAR starts to make some ground on the bottom. They are trying everything they can to split this McCullough contingent up here at the front of the field off turn number 4.
Now Vondel had a chance to jump up in front of Green there, didn't take it. I really would have liked to see that move from him, but they would have lost a lot more support on the bottom that Mark Vondel's been supporting this whole time. He's been third truck in line on the bottom for most of this run here, so it would have really mixed up what was going on, but it would have put Vondel in a very good spot with Austin Green pushing him.
10 laps to go here in Championship Night in the Little Guys Series. The wild card to me, especially for those BAR trucks, is going to be Zach Range. If Range goes with him, it completely changes the complexion of the late run of this race because he adds a 4th truck, and a very good one at that, a very good support truck for them if he decides to jump up. Now Green jumps down in front of his teammate Ron Morris as the lap trucks cycle forward. And again, not a bad spot here for Ron Morris. He's still got lap trucks all around him. Larry McDonald, not much he can do running second in line right now behind the 76. What this does is if these guys starts to clear down, is it leaves a path open for those BAR trucks as they are still backed off the pack with 9 laps to go. They're the guys to watch right now for sure. The 28, the 85, and the 4 running at the tail end of this group. And they are not done yet. They are going to be heard from before the end of this race.
Yeah, those guys are just sitting back there right now waiting for their opportunity. You know, the race is to the finish, and those guys understand that.
Well, the problem right now for Ron Morris, Larry McDonald, and Mark Vondel is they are now trapped in. They've got Austin Green, yes, a teammate in front. For McCullough Motorsports, not for Larry McDonald, but a quasi-teammate right now. Someone he can trust on the bottom locked in. And you got 2 lap cars on the outside. What's that do for BAR? As you see Justin Mills looks high, thinks better of it, chucks back in line. What that does is just opens up the opportunity for BAR to take that run that they've been looking to generate up, which they will in a few laps, and get to that high side, box them in on the top lane, and come out victorious here. But you see Trevor Osbornoth way off the pace now. Range pulled out. He's back into single file mode, and this is starting to bury BAR a little bit. Another truck in line on the bottom.
But you also got the 3 McCullough trucks there very close together on the bottom.
Osbernoth going to jump down in front of Justin Mills here back at the tail end of the lead draft. The BAR trucks, I think, yeah, they have to pass more trucks now, but they'd much rather that second lane be open. It's a lot more profitable to run up in the middle lane and be able to side draft those trucks on the bottom than it would be to have to go all the way around them, the longest way around this racetrack, and try to jump around the outside. So we'll see how this pans out for them. They are catching another truck, and notably, guys, that's David Sheets. A fourth McCullough truck could be coming into play here for these three at the front. And that is a really welcome sight for those three. BAR is going to make their move on the super stretch. Here comes the 4, the 28, and the 85. Do they think better of it? I think they might.
Well, they got blocked off by Trevor Osbernoth, but they're going to push them along here. This top line is going to absolutely fly. You're going to see a lot of trucks start to jockey for position. Look for Ron Morris maybe to take the block here. High, he does, up in front of Trevor Osbernoth. Big push off the back bumper. He gets loose. Oh, man, Austin Green to the apron.
That was a huge save there by Austin Green. I have no idea how he got that truck back going, but he does somehow. The problem for Ron Morris now is, guys, I think he might be a sitting duck here at the front. Vondell, 2 trucks back of him, not really much he can do. BAR is going to head upstairs. 3 wide, Justin Mills with 6 to go. They're going to have to bail out of this, I think. They didn't quite have the run that I think they might have expected. Osbernoth is being a pest here, and look at BAR backing off. Going to the back again as Austin Green catches Osbernoth. BAR completely bails out.
And the one thing that did right there is it also let Sheets grab a hold of the draft and, look out for this McCullough group again. Zach Range is coming to the outside with Osbernoth behind him with Morris leading this.
Man, BAR had started to take their run. It looked like it was going to go well. Ron Morris, a perfect move. Times up the push, manages to hold onto the truck and keep the lead. Now, Range going to drop in front of him, and it'll leave again Green and Osbernoth on the outside as they have been a lot of this race. With 5 to go, the options are starting to run out for Mills, Thompson, and Hanneman. They're starting to, I imagine, run out of patience, but they're starting to run out of options, run out of time. They're going to have to get down to business. They got to go soon. They can't wait too much longer where they're at right now. 4th, 5th, and 6th. Not going to pay them anything tonight. They're going to have to make something happen, and they're just still hanging in the wings.
Ron Morris Jr. thought about going up in front of Osbernoth. Thought better of it, though. Stays to the back bumper of Range. The problem is Range isn't a teammate, not a friendly person in front of him now. It's a fellow competitor. Look for Morris to maybe look outside if that run comes back. Try and get that middle line rolling again. You see BAR make their move up to that middle line. Try and gin up another run here. They have to get hooked up by the bumpers to really get that going.
Yeah, Ron's doing a really good job of keeping Zach out there where there's no real big run coming from anywhere. They're turning really solid lap times at the moment.
Morris, McDonald, Vondell. Now, the wild card in this is going to be Larry McDonald. How bad does he want it? Does he want to just run second? I can't imagine any real racer is going to want to run P2, but he hasn't shown any signs when he's gotten clear of wanting to jump up in front of a run. So, for now, content to run second. I imagine, being in the catbird seat like he is, he's just waiting until the right opportunity, not trying to make the move too early in the 80. But again, it's going to prove to be a wild card. If he gets to the outside of Morris, Vondell can do all he wants, but Range is currently in front of the 76, kind of holding him up a little bit. Ron can't dictate exactly where he goes. BAR's going to take another run at it. Now Justin Mills. Now they have a run with 3 to go. Game on, boys. Here comes BAR to the outside.
Well, if Larry Mack is anything like his better half last week, he is going to stay foot down on the throttle no matter what. Use the apron, use whatever he can to gain an advantage. He's going to give a good push to Ron Morris here. Zach Range jumps to the top. That puts 3 trucks that are a lap down on this outside lane, and you have 3 lead lap cars on the bottom. Look for Justin Mills and Hanneman and Thompson to maybe try and gin up another run. They just can't get hooked up for that run. Mills pulls too much of a draft, and it hooks them all up. And you see, oh, man, 2 lap cars to the bottom. That opens the lane up for Austin Green to push on the top side.
This is not good for Ron.
I don't think this is lining up well for Ron Morris at all. Now 2 picks in front of him. Larry McDonald going to have a free reign at it. 2 laps to go. We get back, and for BAR now, the leader is just 4 trucks in front of them. Only 1 lap truck separates them and the top 3. Guys, I don't know if it's that they're not getting a draft. I think they're backing up. I really do think they're trying to back up, trying to build and wait till the absolute last possible second to take this run.
Yeah, but look what Austin Green's doing. He's backing off. He knows what they're
Agreed.
doing. He's controlling the run for Ron Morris Jr. He's going to take this run, though, with them. Here goes Justin Mills, going to look to the outside. Mark Vandell looks to the outside, but they're going to go to the top of the third lane. Austin Green needs to get to the back bumper now if they're going to have a shot. They're tandem up. Justin Mills, Aubrey Thompson on the outside. They don't have help from Raymond Hammond, but look for Ron Morris to go up for a block.
Ron blocks. Does Mills split the middle? He tried. Now he steps outside. Thompson trying to get to his back bumper. Larry McDonald says, I'm going to take this lead. He leads. White flag. 1 lap to go in the Little Guys Series Championship.
Oh, there's 2 lap cars now as a pick for Ron Morris Jr. But look for a big push out of Ron. This is going to be the biggest push of his life if he can clear Trevor Osmanoff. Trevor Osmanoff now clear to the bottom. He takes it to the bottom. Ron Morris stays with him. He doesn't stay with his teammate Austin Green. They're hooked up by 3 on the outside. I think this is BAR's race to lose.
Halfway down the back, this is going to be the drag race for the end of this one. It's Mills, Thompson, Hanneman, topside the teammates. Morris trying to get everything he can. Where does Larry McDonald go? All of a sudden, now they have the lead, and they may have the run to the checkers. Off turn number 4. Does Ron Morris do anything? He turns the 89 of Oswanoth. Now he has a look at it, though. He has some clean track. What does this do for those 3 up top? Through the trial for the final time. BAR is going to go 1, 2, 3. Justin Mills is the Little Guys Series champion.
Unbelievable run on the outside. Lost for words here. That Ron Morris Jr. just got picked off by 2 lap cars. I really thought he would have committed to that second block to the outside. That was the only chance he really had when he went up there. You saw Mills get out of line, get a little squirrely. That gave him an opportunity to maybe get to the back bumper with Austin Green, but Trevor Osmanoff jumping up really hurt his chances, and he never could gin that run back up.
Yeah, those 3 BAR cars did a really good job getting around the top there, being patient, working together. There wasn't a whole lot the rest of the field could do.
They tried for what felt like the last 15 laps to just try to get something to work, get anything to work, and finally, after just test after test of going to the outside, they just went for it on the backstretch and just said, you know what? Whatever happens, happens. Wherever we finish, we finish. And they got lucky with the positioning of Ron Morris on the bottom and the stack up there in the trial. They were all 3 able to get clear and finish in the top 3. And this, I imagine, it's going to be a pretty hearty celebration for the teammates here on the front stretch. This is a team achievement for sure. Only one can be called champion tonight. That's Justin Mills in the 4. But all 3 are going to be celebrating pretty nicely here on the front stretch. They already are. BAR, 1, 2, 3, rounds out the podium. A $500 night for BAR.
And you're going to see a team burnout from them. All of them into the wall, burning it down. Great job by all 3 of these trucks. Kept it clean, kept it green. 100 laps, green flag racing is a great call with both of you guys. I had a fun time calling this race for sure, and excited to talk to all 3 of these guys.
Well, this is going to be a pretty happy team of drivers, I would imagine, when we get to them here in just a second. We'll take a look really quickly at a replay of the run to the checkered flag as they came off turn number 4 and just what happened to Ron Morris as they came to the checkered flag. He just was pushing for all he was worth. He and Osmanoff got clear down the backstretch, and what that did is, yeah, it allowed him to take the shortest way around the racetrack, but it also allowed BAR to drop down to the middle and side draft and not have to take as long a run around the outside. And here we go, off turn number 4. Morris pushing on Osmanoff, and you're going to see right here the push just gets to be too much off of the corner, and it's going to slow up Ron Morris. And I thought for a second that he got away clean enough here to get a push from Zach Range and maybe at least still salvage a top 3, but Range has to bail off the racetrack, and that kills any momentum that the bottom line has. McDonald, Bondell fall in line, try to make it happen, but nothing doing for those drivers as BAR's train was too much. Got around the outside. There was actually some contact here in the trial. Actually, Ron made some contact there trying to make it happen, but no cigar for Ron Morris tonight, and they fan at the start-finish line. And there's your margin of victory. Justin Mills, Aubrey Thompson, Raymond Hanneman, a top 3 tonight for BAR. We'll go through your finishing results first, and then get into some post-race interviews and get to talk to the 3 BAR drivers that come home in the top 3. Justin Mills wins tonight's race and is the Season 3 Dega Pro's Little Guys Series champion. Aubrey Thompson, his teammate, finishes second, and their third and final teammate tonight, Raymond Hanneman, rounds out the podium. Ron Morris, 1 spot short of the championship podium tonight, but a good, strong run from him. Same with Larry McDonald in the 80. Mark Von Dell finishes 6th tonight. Great run out of him as well. Heath Job, some misfortune on pit stops. He finishes in 7th. Zach Range in 8th. Trevor Osborne finishes 9th, and Nash Brambilla rounds out the top 10.
And in 11th, you got J.R. Miller with his pit road issues in the beginning. Had a good recovery, but just not able to get that lap back with Green Flag Racing. Austin Green, unfortunate first pit stop. He finishes in 12th. Tyler Vickery, also unfortunate pit stops in 13th. 14th, David Sheets. Dustin Carruthers expired his engine early in the race. And that rounds out your 15-truck field. Great group of competitors there and a great race.
We're going to go grab your top 3 for interviews. Stick right here. Stick with us to hear from the BAR teammates on their championship win here tonight. We'll be right back. Back live at Talladega Superspeedway. We're going to start into our post-race show, our post-race interviews here tonight. We start with the man who finished 3rd, one of the 3 BAR teammates we'll get to hear from tonight. And that is Raymond Hanneman, and my broadcast partner here, Matt Lee, stands by with the 3rd-place finisher.
Hey, Ray, it's Matt up in the booth. How's it going?
Not bad. Yourself?
Not bad. Good race by you guys tonight. Really good, solid execution on the pit stops. You got lucky on a couple of them there, sliding through your pit stall. Run me through those mistakes there and how you guys got gathered back up.
Honestly, I know our entry was good. We had a really good entry. I couldn't see where my pit stall was 100% because Matthew Baker's truck's right in front of mine, and he was just sitting there. So every single time I'd make a mistake, but it was like a very minimal mistake, so it was fine. I just asked him to bridge the gap so I can pull up back onto them on the backstretch, and it worked out great every single time. So.
Yeah, that's awesome execution by you guys. Anyone you guys you want to thank?
I got to thank the guys over at Bar. Again, I wouldn't be where I am without these guys every single week. The amount of work that Harrison's done to help me out, get to where I am as a driver in money racing. I got to thank all the people that do host the money races, especially John Ward. We wouldn't be here, again, without people doing these races and stuff like that as well. So huge shout out to him. I got to thank the guys over at Street Limit, my personal team. I got to thank the Boost the North, the Crew app, my personal sponsors. And then I want to thank all the fans, and then also you guys for putting on a great show for all of us every single week. So.
Thanks, Ray. Great run tonight. Good job by you guys. Has a lot of fun to watch.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.
Raymond Hanneman, the 3rd-place finisher tonight. We move now to the man in the 2nd step of the podium. Man, we got to talk to before the race. We're going to talk to him twice in the night. And Matthew Baker, my other partner, stands by with our 2nd-place finisher, Aubrey Thompson.
Hey, Aubrey, it's Matt and Baker and Dawson up at the booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir.
Well, you guys executed well. 100 laps, Green Flag Racing. BAR comes out 1, 2, 3. The only mess-ups we had was because of me, because my truck was on pit road. I don't know why it was there. I didn't even load the station, but it was there. But you guys, you almost had enough to beat Mills there, but I know you guys were fine with going 1, 2, 3. You guys executed really well. Talk to me through those last, 15, 20 laps. What was going through y'all's mind riding in the back, just waiting to gin up that run?
Well, the last pit stop, we killed it. Honestly, us 3 come out so far ahead, I knew that they were going to catch us. So I told Justin whenever they got to us, we'll go up high, let them get around us, and we'll ride until 2 laps to go. And it worked out perfectly.
Well, you guys really executed well, especially with Ron Morris going up to that second lane for the block. Mills got a little out of shape. You guys stayed tucked together there on that third line, able to gin up that run and trap him down on the bottom with the lap car in front. Lap cars became a big factor there in the end, and you guys played your hand perfectly. Congratulations to you guys. Anyone you want to thank or shout out?
I mean, my team, I started this team and brought these boys on, and they are doing what I wanted them to do. 1, 2, 3, I'm happy with it, man. I mean, who wouldn't be?
I would be too, and I better be seeing a $600 guaranteed win BAR race coming up soon. So I think it'd be a lot of fun to come and watch. But I'm excited for y'all's big event that you have coming up as well. Another 250 miler, and just excited to see BAR grow, get more people out there on the track on Sunday nights. We don't really have a good promoter that runs Sunday nights, and it's good to see you guys coming up through the ranks and really putting on good events as well. So congratulations to you guys on the 1, 2, 3, and hopefully we talk to you again next season, since you will be able to run, but not your teammate Justin Mills.
Yeah, and I want to thank y'all for the broadcast, and I want to thank John Ward for putting this series on, man. This is a great series. I mean, it helps everybody run better, new guys learn stuff, and these pit stops, man, they make a difference.
Absolutely make a difference. Thanks for talking to us, Aubrey.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Aubrey Thompson, the second of the 3 BAR teammates on the podium tonight. It leads us to the man of the hour, the man we're calling Season 3 Little Guys Series Champion, and that is our winner tonight, Justin Mills, the final of the 3 BAR trucks on the podium. Justin, it's the boys in the booth. You get a copy?
Yeah, I got you, Dawson.
Well, you get the win tonight, and I got to imagine that feels great, but I can't imagine it feels any better than getting your teammates along for the ride with you. A podium sweep tonight for BAR, top 3, all going to you guys. Take us through that effort, especially that last pit stop. You guys really killed that pit stop. Just take us through the thought process that got you guys to a top 3 finish.
I believe I was just talking to my teammates, but I feel like if we'd have stayed out, we could have gapped them, because we made up a bunch of time on that extra lap we run. But we didn't make great pit stops all night, to be honest with you. One of our teammates didn't. But he's all right. We waited for him, stayed hooked up, done what we needed to do to get the job done.
Well, you did, and just kind of take us through that last sequence. We heard both of your teammates talking about that you guys were waiting for the right moment. We saw you guys try it a couple times, then just dive back in line, bide your time, wait for the run to come to you guys. Just take us through. What was the thought process there? Coming to 2 laps to go as you guys made your move to the outside.
I was thinking that the lap cars was going to get in the way, to be honest with you. We just laid back, time to run. Tried to time it right.
Well, you do. You're now in victory lane here. What does this mean for you guys as a team, for not only for you to win the championship, but for you guys to completely sweep the podium positions?
It's big. It's big for all of us.
Well, a great operation that you guys have going, and tonight you win the championship here in the Little Guys Series, our 3rd champion in this series. So while we have you here for a second, you're in victory lane. Is there anybody you'd like to thank or shout out?
Just all my teammates, John Ward for putting it on, and y'all guys for doing the broadcast, man. Y'all do an awesome job.
Well, congratulations tonight on being named the Season 3 Little Guys Series champion. Congratulations to you and your teammates on an incredible run, a perfectly executed final run to the end. Go enjoy it. Go celebrate. And we will see you guys soon.
All right, appreciate y'all. Y'all have a good night.
Our Season 3 champion, Justin Mills, gets the job done tonight. Guys, it seems like this became a pattern. 100 laps, wire to wire, no cautions. Plenty of storylines, but no cautions to be heard of. We go 100 straight laps of Green Flag Racing. What a championship race it was.
Yeah, really exciting racing all the way through. We had a lot of lulls of waiting for the pit stops, a little bit of single file action, but it was made up by the great last lap that we were able to see there. Good fuel strategy and great pit stops all around from the front 7, and glad to see them race it out to the end.
Yeah, it was really fun watching the teams work together there, and even though you had a bunch of guys lap down and stuff, you know, they didn't play a huge factor. The BAR guys did an excellent job executing, and it was great to see Justin win that race. I mean, well deserving.
Well, a great win for BAR, a great win for Justin Mills. A statement from them tonight. They are here, and they are here to stay, and they get the top 3 positions in tonight's event. As we go on from here, Season 4 of the Little Guys Series will happen. Now, we don't know exactly when yet. We'll take a few weeks off just like we did between Seasons 2 and 3, but it will be back as far as I know. We will go back racing when we get down to it for Season 4 as we name another champion next season. Justin Mills joins Josh McCullough and Michael Triscaro as the season champions here of the Little Guys Series. Congratulations again to Justin and all of BAR for that effort here tonight. Next on tap, I believe, is going to be, well, if you want to count the ERA Omega Cup Spring Bowl. That is Wednesday night, as we have several from our community that advanced into that race through tonight's heat races, so make sure to check that out. A lot of representation from the guys you're used to seeing will be in that race, so go watch those guys. Go check that out on Wednesday night. We're back for PGR on Thursday night. I believe we're back to our bread and butter this week. Double checking really quickly just to make sure, but I do believe we are back into the trucks this week. Oh, sorry, we are not. It's another rare race for us. It's the Gen 6 cars. I'm really excited for this one. And guys, if you want to come in here too, I know we have all run this car. It is a lot of fun. Thursday is a can't-miss event in PGR.
No, it's going to be incredible. Very, very excited for it. These cars, we call them the cracked out next gens. They got the draft model and they got the damage model update. They are unbelievable to drive.
Yeah, I'm really excited to run that race on Thursday. You know, the Gen 6 was always a ton of fun to race. It's just getting a group of guys together that could run it without the complaining that goes with it, with the big side draft and everything. That was a factor with the car, but I mean, it should be a ton of fun.
A staple of the Super Speedway racing before the next gen was released in 2022, and happy to get back to it. Going to be a nice nostalgia boost for me as well. It's where my Super Speedway career started, was in that car. So watch that one on Thursday on Ghost Racing Network. That's going to be a lot of fun. Go check that one out. It's going to be a great night of racing. But from here, this will do it for the Little Guys Series season number 3. We'll be back with season number 4 in a few weeks. If everything goes right, we'll crown another Little Guys Series champion and start this journey all over again. I've enjoyed calling this entire season. Thanks to everybody that's come out and watched. I know these nights get late, but it's been a lot of fun. Grateful to John Ward for putting this on, for giving me the opportunity, me and these guys, the opportunity to come up here and talk about racing for a little bit with you all. Thanks for watching. Thanks for hanging around with us. We will see you next